Great day, kings and queens. Welcome to another conversation with Drew. This is a wonderful Wednesday. It's such a pleasure and an honor to come before you guys and share this gift with you guys. Beyond blessed, to be able to share the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, that I've gained through these experiences over these years. That's causing me to become the best version of myself. And hope, that what I say to you or give you or provide you with, that can help you to become the best version of yourself. Listen, man, we got to have a real talk today, so this might be the only smiling that I do. So y'all go ahead and get, the excitement in from the smile, but this might be the only smiling that I do, man. Great morning, Queen. This election, yeah, I'm gonna have to roll out a window on this one right here. This election, man, it's sad. I'm gonna start off with that. It's very, very sad. The comments and the posts that I've seen about this election, from people who say that they believe in God, people who call themselves believers or Christians or whatever the case may be. Very sad. It bothered me to an extent. Because, I seen posts like, well, God is still on the throne, or Jesus is still king, and all of this stuff, and oh my gosh, and I'm afraid of my children, and I'm disappointed in black people, because they didn't go vote, and all of this crazy stuff, man, right? When you understand the power of you won't pay attention to politics. You won't pay attention to government in the sense of, yes, what's going on in current events, but that is not what your hope and what your faith is predicated on, right? When I seen that Donald Trump won this morning, because I wasn't staying up for this crap, because none of that stuff, impacts who I am and what I'm here to do, right? And so when I seen that Donald Trump won this morning, to me, right, because I'm in purpose, because I understand who I am, because I'm in a relationship with the creator of the universe, I just simply said to myself, Father, you have placed me here for this season. You placed me here for this time. You placed me here for this very moment. If this man is what everybody is fearing that he's going to be, then you gave me the ability to make change in spite of all of that, right? It's sad because if you're on here talking about, now it's doomed, now things are about to go crazy because of, Donald Trump's in office. Or racism was in the United States before Donald Trump got into the office, wasn't it? Wasn't ignorance in politics and in government before he got into office? Absolutely. Has this government ever gave you or provided you what it is that you have been seeking and asking for? No. So why did you think that another candidate after 44 presidents was going to do something so great and so magnificent that it was going to change the complexity of your family's history? It doesn't make sense, kings and queens. Because when you recognize and you understand that the power is in the people and not in the government, you will start operating in your purpose. That didn't shake me. That didn't bother me to see that Donald Trump won. That did nothing to me but only validated why I'm here. It only gave more sense to my purpose. Because if he ended up being the corruption that we believe that he may be, the only thing that it's going to do is cause you to become greater if you recognize who you are. That's it. That's it. That's all that it's going to do, kings and queens, is cause you to become greater. Oh, I fear for my children who have to grow up in this world with Donald Trump as president. If you are operating in your power, in your purpose, in the kingdom that's inside of you, the king, the queen that's inside of you, you're going to leave such a legacy that your children are going to be protected by that. That your children are going to be, that they're going to have provision by that. How is it, man? This is what bothers me, right? All these African Americans out here that's so distraught. Jesus is still king. God is still Lord. Oh, God, save us all. Listen, man, check this out, man. African Americans make up 13% of the United States. About half of that are either incarcerated or on drugs, right? So we're talking about 6.87%. You know what I mean, of African-American votes. Did you really believe that that was going to have such a great impact? Did you truly believe that that was the deciding factor? 7%? That's what you really was convinced and believed, that 7% was going to make that much of a difference? You're the problem. You're the problem. Because then after your vote didn't matter like you really believed that it did, like your vote really made that much of a difference after it was let down, now, oh my God, you have to protect us, God. You have to save us, God. God has always been at the throne. The problem is that you're not operating in your purpose, so that's why you're afraid. The problem is that you're not adding no value to the earth. That's why you're afraid. The problem is that you're going through your religious practices. That's why you're afraid, because you do not understand that the power is in you. The power is in you, kings and queens. The power is not in a system that was never created to even be for you. I just went back after, getting hip to this new documentary on Netflix called The 13th, right? And so I went and I read the 13th Amendment that says that basically slavery is abolished unless you are a criminal. Slave, you're not a slave as long as you're not a criminal. This is what the 13th Amendment says. So literally slavery is still in play. Slavery is still in practice. Slavery is still relevant. But the problem is that you do not recognize your purpose. That's it. Man, one of my favorite songs is my man Michael J, right? This is the way he said, listen to these words. This is so funny to me because we have gotten to a place of ignorance. We have gotten to a place of poverty mindset that we cannot see how great and valuable that each individual in this earth is, right? There's over 7.4 billion people in the earth. If just half of that came together and moved in a fashion of purpose, we can truly have this earth operating the way that we desire it. We're believing in a government and a system that was never designed for you. It was designed for them to win. And I'm not even talking about white people. I'm talking about the people who established the government. It was designed for them to win. That's it, not the people. The people that it designed it to be over was to keep them in a certain place and position that it will always benefit the government. It was never designed for you to win. But the thing is this, like Michael Jackson said, he said, I'm talking to the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. He said, no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make a change, take a look at yourself and make the change. The change is in you. The greatness is in you. The power is in you. It's in your purpose, though. It never said a government to make room for you. It never said a system, a cosmos to make room for you. It always said a man's gift will make room for you and bring you before great men. The problem is that you continue to rely ignorantly on a government or on a system that was never designed for you. That's the problem. So you really thought that you going to vote was going to make that much of a difference. That's the problem. How, when 44 presidents has let you down, man? How is that so hard to understand? 44 have let you down. Why do you think the 45th was going to be different? It doesn't matter if it's Hillary or if it's Donald. The reality of it is that if you want a great country, if you desire a great country, then become great. Then become great. Find the greatness that's inside of you. Be so great that the people who come in contact with you automatically have to become great with you. I know y'all got on here and y'all was wanting some magnificent message this morning, man. That's bullcrap, man. It's bullcrap because it's so sad of all of these posts that I've seen over and over about Jesus is still king and God protect us and my kids are, man, that's bullcrap. That's bullcrap. Because the value of this country becoming better is in you. It's in your greatness. Well, what about the government if they don't provide jobs? You have gifts and abilities that's inside of you to start businesses that provide jobs, kings and queens. I told you ain't gonna be too much smiling today. Because it's real. It's real. Because I understand, right? This is what I understand. He said there's going to be wars and rumors of wars. He said there's going to be famines, there's going to be pestilence. There's going to be all of this chaotic stuff going on, right? He said, but still, the end is not yet. He said the end of the age will come when the message, when the gospel of the kingdom is being preached and being taught in all nations as a testimony. That means this, kings and queens, right? This is what's so dope about this understanding. Check it out. That means that the things, the power, the belief, right, of the kingdom is this, right? And in the kingdom of heaven, there's no sickness. In the kingdom of heaven, there's no poverty. In the kingdom of heaven, there's no lack, right? In the kingdom of heaven, there's no racism. In the kingdom of heaven, there's no corruption, right? So what Christ was saying to us is that people are going to have to see that in the earth all across the nation before the end comes. That's why I believe the way that I do. Because I'm not seeing that yet. I'm seeing the wars and the rumors of war. So if they even announce that World War III is happening, there is no reason to be shaken. Because all it's saying is that it's going according to plan, but the plan is this, that the greatness inside of you still has to come forth. The greatness inside of you is still necessary. So it doesn't matter who is in the political office. It doesn't matter who they say won the election. What matters is that the purpose that's in you can help change this earth. The greatness that's in you can help save this world. That's why you were sent into the earth. You were not sent into the earth to be under a government that was never designed for you. Will you get this? My man Chris Tucky said, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? The greatness that you are seeking starts with you. I'm talking to the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could have been any clearer. If you want to make a world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. Woo! Woo! Na 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 na. You understand what I'm saying? If you want this world to be great, the greatness is in you. What are you waiting for? See, the problem is the reason why you're scared and y'all putting all these posts that God is still king and Jesus is still on the throne. The reason why you're doing that is because you call yourself a believer and you really don't believe. That's just the reality. Yeah, I'm checking your faith because you still don't believe. Because you still believe that a government that was never created for you to win is going to help you win in life. That's bullcrap. Na 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 na. I know where the change is. Why you think that I wouldn't change me first? I'm talking to the man in the mirror. Yep. Because I understand that the greatness that we are all seeking is in you. The greatness is in your purpose. Listen, this is what's so powerful, right? Because in our minds, we've been conditioned to believe this. Well, Drew, I can't get a business loan. Or Drew, it's so hard for us, to get ahead because of the system. Or Drew, listen, man, listen. King and queen, you were able to, with your husband or with your wife or with your ex or with some jump off, lay down, right? And create a whole nother human being. You were able to create a whole nother human being, a whole life. So do you honestly believe that if you were able to be used to create a whole nother human being, that God cannot allow you to get a funky business loan? That you don't have the power and the authority to be able to change your circumstances and situations? You were able to bring a whole nother human being in the earth. We're talking about life, the most significant thing that's in the earth. Life. Life. Without us in this earth, there would be no earth. Because the reason why the earth was established was for us. And you have been convinced. You have been bamboozled. You have been hoodwinked to believe that whoever is in office is going to dictate the greatness that's in you. It hasn't stopped me. It hasn't stopped me from putting down marijuana. It hasn't stopped me from walking a life of celibacy and abstinence. It hasn't stopped me from finding my purpose. It hasn't stopped me from getting on here, spreading this truth, spreading these messages. It hasn't stopped me from going into these prisons and these juvenile centers, into these schools. It hasn't stopped me. Has it? Because it can't. Neither can it stop you, kings and queens. But if you believe that Hillary was going to make a difference, if you believe that Donald Trump is not going to make a difference, you're the problem. You're the problem. How is it that you say that you believe in God and you believe that Hillary Clinton was going to be the change? We believe the same thing with Obama, right? The same exact thing with President Obama, and there was a little change. There were some things that happened, but it wasn't nothing significant. Why? Because the change of significance is in you. It's in the greatness that lies in you. I still see trees growing every single day. I still see rain falling down from the heavens. I still see the sun popping out. So that means that things are still happening. Greatness is still all around us. But the problem is that you have believed in a system that keeps letting you down because that same system was not designed for you. Listen, they told you and convinced you that slavery was abolished. But if you go right now, Google it when we get off of here, go to the 13th Amendment, and it says that literally slavery is abolished unless you are a criminal. Unless you are a criminal. This is in our Constitution. So that is saying to me that you have been lied to all your life about slavery. It still exists. Prison systems is slavery. It's in the 13th Amendment right in front of your face, and they have convinced you that slavery was gone. Well, Drew, you know what we fought? Our people fought for their votes. They fought for these rights. You know why they were fighting for that vote? You know why they were fighting for those rights? It's because they never recognized and realized that the rights that they were fighting for was always theirs. It was already theirs. I was born free. I was born a king not because some amendment. I was born a king not because some constitution. I was born a king not because the words of man. I was born a king because my father said he's the King of Kings. I was born a king because my father says that I'm a Lord of Lords. I'm not waiting for Donald Trump or Hillary or President Barack Obama or whoever they put in office to be a king. I was born a king. I was born free. Nobody can stop what God placed inside of you. Nobody can stop that. But if you never believe that you were given the rights and the commandment to be great in life, then the only thing that you will settle for is what another man will give you. I guarantee they won't catch King Drew settling. I guarantee it. Why? Because I understand that the greatness that's in me, they can't stop. The greatness that's inside of you, they can't stop. They put a bullet inside of Martin Luther King Jr., and we still talk about him to this day. Still talk about him to this day. That's how great the greatness in you is. But if you never recognize it, you will always wait for a system that was never designed for you. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? It was never designed for you to win. Stop believing in it, please. Stop believing in it, please. I believe in a government. I believe in a system. I believe in authority and power that comes from a place above this earth. And it said that in that government, in that system, that there is no poverty. It says in that government, in that system, that there is no lack. It says in that government, in that system, that there is nothing but freedom. It says in that government and system that I have the right to be a king and a priest. That's what it says in that government and system. That's the one I believe in, and nothing has stopped me yet. Nothing has stopped me yet. Because I understand, kings and queens, that what God placed in you, When the creator of the universe, right? When he thought of you, he said, I am fearfully and wonderfully making you. He said, before I'm going to send you into the earth, I'm going to do something so amazing in you that in your generation, they will never stop talking about it. In your generation and the generations to come, that's what I'm going to do with you. So when he sent you into the earth, it didn't matter if your parents were married or unmarried. It didn't matter if your parents end up becoming dope fiends or prisoners. It doesn't matter if your parents end up being the dope sellers. It does not matter. He just used them to get you here. But he said that you have something so great, something so magnificent inside of you that it doesn't matter if Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or President Obama is in office. It is saying that the greatness that's in you cannot be stopped as soon as you recognize it. As soon as you recognize it. As soon as you understand the value that's inside of you. That's what you have to understand. That nothing or no one can stop the greatness that's inside of you. Period. It doesn't matter what system is out there. It does not matter. There is a system that is operating far beyond this system. It keeps me going every single day. It keeps me speaking every single day. It keeps providing opportunities every single day. And those opportunities have not ceased yet. They only keep growing. They only keep expanding. Why? Because that's all I see. That's all I believe. And the law is, as a man think in his heart, so is he. What you think about, you bring about. Because I understand that this is only the aftermath. The natural is only the aftermath. That's all that it is. So everything that you are seeing is only the aftermath. What are you going to do to start something great? What are you going to do? Are you going to keep saying you believe in God and then get on social media and say, God save us all because Donald Trump is in office? Man, you weak. Get out the way. You playing with it. You playing with it. You're playing with it. The greatness that I know that's inside of me, no man is going to stop. Period. No man is going to stop. There's not a bullet out there. There's not a C4 explosion that's out there. There's not a hand grenade out there. There's not a corrupt enough system out there to stop the greatness that's in me. Period. I promise you that. I promise you that. Don't fear for your children. Fear for your children if you are not in your purpose. That's a great reason to fear for your children. You're absolutely right. If you're believing in a system that's never did anything for you, yeah, fear for your children. Fear for your children's children at that. The reason why I don't fear for my children's children is because I know that when they talk about great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather, great-great-great-grandfather, great-great-great-great-grandfather Andrew Clayborn, they're going to say that that man lived like a king. They're going to say that that man took over territories. They're going to say that that man was one of the most extraordinary leaders of our times. They're going to say that that man left a legacy that nobody can erase. They're going to say that that was a king amongst kings. Because I understand that the greatness that's in me, nothing has given me, so nothing can stop it. I'm telling you today, kings and queens, that the greatness that's inside of you, it cannot be stopped. But the problem is that you, kings and queens, are relying on a system that was not designed for you to succeed. Go do the history, right? Go do the research. Go look up Socrates and Plato's and Aristotle. Those are the ones who established democracy, right? And what they were doing when they were establishing that idea of democracy, they were doing it from a perspective of we are gods, we are the elite, and everybody else is peasants. Everybody else is slaves, right? This is what they were doing it from, right? They were Greeks, right? So when the Romans defeated the Greeks, they took their philosophy and they implemented it, right? That's why it's called the Roman Greco, right? Because they took what the Greeks were establishing and they used it, right? And that means that everybody who was underneath them were slaves, right? Well, that is where democracy comes from, democracy. That's where it comes from, right? Greek word. That's where it comes from. So it's saying that anybody who is not in that system is underneath that system to be slaves and peasants, right? So when you understand that, kings and queens, you got to understand that that's why it said, unto you a child will be born. Unto you a son will be given. And upon his shoulders will be the government, not a government. It's going to be the government. Ah, man, I hope y'all get this. And it said into his reign, and to the growth, and to the increase, there will be no lack, no limitation to his kingdom. I'm telling you right now, kings and queens, there's something that's operating out there that's greater than the than this democratic government, this Republican, whatever you guys want to believe in. It's something so greater. I promise you. And I believe in it. And that's why I talk the way that I do. That's why I speak with so much authority and so much power. That's why I speak with so much conviction, because I know in my heart, kings and queens, that there is nothing or no one on this earth that can stop me. And I believe the same thing, because he brought the government into the earth. It's just that you don't believe it. You believe in democracy. But it was never supposed to be a democracy. It was supposed to be one government, one economy, one system, one faith. That's it. That's it. And that's all. And so that's all I believe in. And so what I'm saying to you today, kings and queens, those out there that's struggling right now because Donald Trump became the 45th president of the United States, listen, man, let me help you out. I'm talking to the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. How much you mention night? That's what you do when you don't know what Mike's saying. You don't know what you don't know what you don't know. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, like, this is life, man. Y'all wonder why I'm so elated? Because I understand. I understand the laws. I understand the principles. He said the kingdom of heaven is like yeast. This is what y'all gonna get. Y'all gonna get this work before I get off of here, right? He said it's like yeast. Understand, right, what yeast is. Yeast is like a sand, right? It seems insignificant, right, when it compared to the big old dough, right? The dough is the world systems, right? The yeast is the kingdom, right? So understand this, right? It seems insignificant, doesn't it? It seems real small, right? Right? Check it out. Check this out and stay with me, right? But yeast is only activated when it's in the dough, right? Yeast is only activated under pressure and under heat, right? Those who made bread before, those who cooked and made dough before, right? When you put the warm water into the yeast and activate it, and then you put it into the dough, right? That's when it begins to go to work. That's why he said, be in the systems, be in the world. World is, in Greek, is the word cosmos. It means governing systems. Be in the system, but don't be of that system. So as we look insignificant, as we look like it's just one man against the world, understand that I'm yeast. What I'm carrying, it is yeast. So when I get inside of that dough, when I get inside of that system and they start putting pressure on me, but they start needing me, that's when I go to work. That's why I'm so on fire. Because I understand that it doesn't matter what the corruption is happening. You're only playing into the purpose and the plan of the creator of the universe. Put me in the yeast, Father. Put me in the dough. Put me inside the systems. Because I understand the authority that you placed in me. You said have dominion. You said have power, have rule, have governorship, have leadership in the earth. So put me in there. You said that what you put in me is like yeast. I seem insignificant as one man. I seem like I can't do nothing against that big old ball of dough. But he said that yeast, when you put heat on it, when you put pressure on it, when you start kneading it, that's when it goes to work. So that's why these things are happening. Because it's time to go to work. And your work, the word ergon, it means to become. Your work is not your job. Your work is your purpose. Find your purpose today, kings and queens. And I promise you, you won't fear no man. You won't fear no system. You'll understand that that man in that system was the reason why you were born. Thank you, kings and queens, man. I wish I can keep going, man. I got things to do, man, but I love you guys, man. I thank you guys for tuning in. But remember, it's not a look, it's a lifestyle, because we do this every day, not to impress people, but to leave an impression on the earth. Again, man, we're building beyond Facebook Live, man. So we're opening up for donations, man. If you want to donate, man, go to andrewdclayborn@gmail.com or inbox me for further instructions, man, so y'all can get this work and be a part of this, or DM me, man. However, man, please donate, man. Please share this video, because, man, we about to go global and we want everybody to be part of this, man. I love you guys. God bless.